welcome to your day off. My name is Corey. Of course, with my bad bud Tone. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
So we're year two, right?
Year two, day one.
Day one at Premier Orlando, and we've got a really exciting weekend ahead.
Dude, we got a great lineup this week, or these 2 days, 3 days, 10 podcasts in 2 days. But I don't know.
So for the next 10 podcasts, we're going to hear what live from Premier Orlando.
Right. So hopefully you guys don't get tired of it.
Tired of hearing it.
But we're going to kick this off with, probably our furthest listener.
Yeah, without a doubt, right?
From China.
Yeah, he came here all the way from China to come spend the day with us, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we it's funny because when we first found out about these guys, they were, Christine sent us an email, and I wasn't sure if they were for real or not.
I know, right?
And then as we studied them and stuff, and found out that they, they put hairdressers first as well.
That's amazing.
So today we're going to be talking to Jeff Mason Clifford. That he's usually the guy behind the scenes, sort of like you and I, that put other people ahead of themselves, and so. But his story is pretty fascinating, so I'm really looking forward to learning a little bit more about him.
I can't wait to get into it. We had a little bit of a phone conversation. I was like, "All right, Jeff, we can't talk about this because I want to get it live."
Yeah,
So here we are.
How do you end up in China?
I don't know if that's the first question, but that's a question, right?
Yeah, that's
so let's
definitely
get
involved in the conversation.
Without a doubt.
Gentlemen.
So, Mr.
It's
Jeff, welcome to your day off.
So, awesome. Where are you from? So,
I grew up in a small town.
Originally, where are you
Michigan,
from?
Actually, and from when I was really, really young, I was kind of involved in production and basically getting things made. I grew up around it.
So when you say production, you mean like actual products?
Yeah. Like
so when you
not
say
even hair care,
production,
nothing
you
similar.
mean like,
we were
like
in the
actual
automotive
products?
industry. And so we actually had a factory when I was a kid. My father was doing this. I was watching it happen. I was watching QC and things like making sure that we're making a quality product. And so I'd say it's kind of second nature at this point.
It's pretty cool, man.
Our industry.
It's pretty cool, man.
People from our industry brings in people from everywhere.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, man.
You know what I mean? Like our boy Gabe, he was a cop.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now he's in our industry. We got Jeff here that, was in the automotive industry, manufacturing, and now he's in our industry. So tell us a little bit more about,
it was
growing
interesting.
up in the manufacturing
basically,
industry.
when I was a kid, I was watching people do quality analysis. I was watching people try to bring a factory up to ISO 9001 standards, which basically means, you're getting what you pay for when you make. The people that we were working with, the clients, were the big three. It was GM, Chrysler, Ford, and these people don't play around. Obviously, quality is extremely important. And again, I wasn't really fully cognizant of what was happening when I was a kid, but later on, all of these things that I picked up along the way that I guess just kind of seeped in through osmosis started coming into play when all of a sudden, wow, I've got to make my own stuff and I can't have it be crappy. So
right. It's pretty cool. So how did you find the hair world? It's pretty cool. So how did you find the hair world or the industry? Or
I know it sounds silly, but it's the truth. I started off actually doing design. I was a creative. I loved working with design. I would literally look at beer caddies, Bud Light caddies on tables and be like, you know what, I can figure out how to make that. And I was doing another design job, totally unrelated. And somebody, a mutual acquaintance that I had, said, hey, there's this job opportunity with this company, and they were making appliances. They were making similar stuff that we're doing. And when I went in, essentially I went in as kind of like a hybrid between a designer, creative director, and also handling China, because I've always had a love for the Far East. I think it's awesome. It's kind of like just one of those exotic places that you have to go check out for yourself.
We went to go check it out and never came
Sure.
back.
Yeah.
We went to go check it out and never came back. But
So you're making products for the industry now.
Well, originally I was working for other people.
How'd you evolve?
I started to kind of see a disconnect between what I saw out there and the level of care and obviously the end user customer satisfaction that their clients were getting. And I guess I had the crazy idea I could do better myself.
That beer cart, right?
Yeah. And when I got to that
Like that
point,
beer
I
cart,
basically
right?
said that I'm not the best designer. I'm a capable designer. I'm a much better editor. And when I saw...
In this case, what is editor?
Well, I mean, like I can basically optimize.
In this case,
designs.
what does editor mean?
This looks good, this looks bad, and kind of have a good sense for where the creative direction should go. And I'm a great team builder also. So when it comes to finding creatives, amazing creatives, I'll put our team up against damn near anybody. But ultimately, I just had the thought that, I can do this better myself, but I had to be pragmatic and realistic with what I can offer. I'm not going to run around and self-aggrandize and tell everybody I'm great when I'm not. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. And one of the real key, I guess, additives that I figured that I could add to really make this take off was to actually be boots on the ground in Asia. Go, see the quality, see the thing, make the reputation for our company upstanding with suppliers, and actually develop those relationships so that they want to make good quality stuff for us, not just ship crap out the door because who cares? These guys are jerks. And that's a lot what you get in this industry. You get people who, they don't really respect where the stuff comes from, and in the end it's got to be a relationship because, it's all based on trust. And the stuff that's coming out of China has to be something that you're going to put your trust in because people are using it day in, day out. And we wanted to make sure that reputation was there.
So when you said appliances,
mm-hmm.
were they so when you said appliances,
were
they hair appliances?
We were doing hair appliances, brushes, lots of stuff like that, bags, marketing, collateral, everything. Basically, you can make anything in China. And for me, as somebody not really coming from the hair industry, I can make anything in China. It doesn't matter what it is. You name it, we can make it. We just love the hair industry because it's just so empowering for everybody. You get these people who, they come from all walks of life and they get into this and it's like, there's really no wrong answers here. There really aren't. It seems like people are just able to express themselves in a mutually beneficial way where everybody builds each other up, and that energy is very, it's very contagious. I like it.
I mean, there's so much stuff. There's so much stuff that you hear about China, like you were saying about quality control and stuff. How do you how do you find the right manufacturing, or how do you know that they're not putting out crap?
One of the first things you learn about China when you actually go see what's going on is that there is 50 different quality levels for everything, absolutely everything. And in the end, it's all about building the relationship and letting people understand this is what you're trying to do, and we'll work with you, and this is going to be a step-by-step process to build things up. That's like a key Chinese phrase. Everybody is step-by-step. That is the name of the game everywhere. And essentially what it means is, there's a sequential order to how things grow. What ultimately happens is that you get over there and you see that there's good factories, there's bad factories, there's people who really genuinely want to work with you and honestly are coming at it with the best of intentions. And then there's ones who have already made their money and maybe they don't care so much. They've got a big customer and honestly, they can make a little money from you, but it's not that important to them. Our strength is in, because we're there, we go in and we find people who actually are on the same page as we are. We come at this with the best of intentions, and we look for factories that do the same. So we have people who we've worked with for years, and honestly, we couldn't be happier with our relationships. I think that at the end of the day, the product speaks for itself, and that's always what we try to do: is we let our product speak for ourselves.
So what type of products are we talking?
We do
what type of
basically anything, any hot tools that you could possibly use on your hair, any brushes, any supplemental equipment, pretty much you name it, we can make it. But obviously we have our core strengths, and that primarily revolves around hot appliances.
And so, I don't really know what the question is, but what do you guys do? Yes, you make hot tools, but how do you get it into we're here at Premier. How do you get those products?
A lot of it is relationships
Premier?
On both sides. We have our relationships in China. Luckily, I was extremely fortunate, and I made some great contacts during my time actually in the trenches in the hair industry. And the people that we worked with when I first embarked for China, which was back in 2013. We're still working with. We're still making great products, and we've grown with them. So it's been a scenario where, basically the rising tide raised all ships.
I guess my question is, so you're the step before the brand, right? I guess my question is, so you're the step before the brand, right?
Yeah,
so before somebody puts their name on it,
we can
that's what your company
essentially
is doing?
find anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Ideally, what we like to do is work with factories that we've obviously got a proven track record with, but if our guys don't make it, we'll find it and we'll stick QC in the factory and make sure that everybody's on the same page as far as expectations. No surprises.
So it's funny because it feels like we're having a conversation like with Mariah and Pink Pewter, right? I mean,
yeah, a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So, as a hairdresser, I guess you know, if I wanted to open up my own brand, or if I had a big company, if I wanted to, you know, create a hot tool brand, you're the guy to come see.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably pretty accurate.
Right.
That's how he makes the money.
Let's hope.
Right.
That's the business, right?
Yeah, to be honest, that's the most fun. We work with some very, very big names, but also we really, really love to find the people who honestly are just very passionate about their craft, and they're looking for some way to, I guess, get their name out there in the form of an extension of what they're putting in for professionalism in their craft. So, you know, maybe they're doing amazing hair, but they don't really know so much about, you know, how can I get this? How can I get my name on other products? How can I actually, I hate to use the word monetize, but take what I've built and actually monetize it into products, and so that people really know me. There's something lasting, and we're the experts at that. When it comes time to make a brand, to take your vision, whether it's you're just starting with a salon, whether it's you're just starting with, hey, I'm just this amazing stylist and I've got this phenomenal Instagram following, we have the ability to take your vision, make a brand around it, and find everything you need to essentially stock your shelves.
I love that. I love that
you can help create that product.
Absolutely.
So I could totally have like a Corey flat iron.
Yeah, you can. You could have a whole year day off line.
Pay attention, guys.
It's coming.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So how do you guys do you guys seek out artists, or are the artists seeking you out, or what's that dance like?
To be honest, yeah, we don't. I hate to say it, we really don't market ourselves at all. The majority of our clients come from word of mouth. We've essentially been focusing on our own brands to an extent. They've kept us extremely, extremely busy. So that, aside from the private label accounts that we have more than enough stuff to do. Essentially what happens is we find people who are really passionate. They find us and they say, hey, you know, we'd love for you to make this stuff. And I don't like to say no. At the end of the day, you know, I mean, like, if I find somebody that's as passionate as we are about making good products, then I'm going to help them. I'm going to figure out some way to rearrange my day. I don't sleep much.
I'll vouch. They sent us a care package, and my wife and daughter chicken hawk a couple of the hot tools, and they love it.
That's a job well done right there.
Yeah.
Chicken hawks.
That's validation.
They tried it and stole it.
That's pretty cool. So
super happy to hear that.
So tell our listeners, like, you actually live in China now, right?
I actually, I made the leap. I jumped. 6 years ago, I made the call. I said, like, look, the only real value that I'm going to be able to bring from this, because I can't do hair. I love the industry, but I can't do hair. So the only thing that I can really do is support the people who actually are perfecting their craft. And so this was my best way, using my skill sets and the aptitudes that I have, to bring value to this industry, because that's what I'm all about. I love to see people who have a talent and then basically empower them to go to the next level.
That's so awesome. I mean, I keep thinking, like, that this is such a cool opportunity, because he is empowering the hairdresser. And like you said, I mean, he could empower Corey with a Corey flat iron.
There you go.
Right. And I just think that's really, really cool.
Like I said, you know, as I was reading about him, I became an instant fan. We had a phone conversation, and he started to tell us a story, and, you know, we tried to stop him because, you know, we wanted to be more authentic on the podcast. But I mean, he's all about the hairdresser, and that's
amazing.
Yeah, that's a win-win in my book.
Yeah, definitely. So you're really in China, right?
Yeah.
Like, your family and all that?
You know, I didn't expect that. It kind of came out of left field. I said, when I went over there 6 years ago, I was basically a one-man show. I went over there, I was doing my own designs, I built my first website, literally designed my first brand, and then came back and started schlepping it around to different retailers to try to find somebody who'd pick us up. And we had actually some friends in Canada that loved our stuff. They had 500 stores up there and said, all right, we'll give this a shot. And that was literally step one.
So
that's guts.
Yeah. That was my life savings in the first 20-foot container.
Is that the point? Is that were those private labels at that point, or you were selling a label at that?
I was extremely fortunate to go over there with some very, very good private label contacts, people who wanted us to make stuff, and I made it very clear with them what I was planning to do, that essentially, like, I had a dream. I'm going to go and make my own company. I'm going to grow this thing. I made sure that I wasn't going to get into anything, like any conflicts with them, because we love those guys. And so I essentially went for retail market. I can make anything. I can make pro side, I can make mass market, but at the end of the day, it's good to have the ability to do both rather than just be a one-trick pony. But when we went there, we started with the one brand, got it picked up, and then every single time I sold a container, I lived in the cheap. Literally, I am the definition of bootstrapping something in China. I went over there and I lived in an apartment that cost me $212 a month on the roof of a building. Wow. Yeah, it was wild. I had the best view in town because nobody wants to live on the roof in China. It's unlucky. So here I am up on this roof in China, overlooking everything, seeing cultural shows, living my best life.
He's in the penthouse for $212.
$212 a month. I am absolutely serious. But you know what? It was the best time of my life. And sitting around there, literally building my first brand in a coffee shop down the street from my house was wild. Met my wife completely by accident. I actually got married. Met an absolute amazing partner, the absolute best wife I could ever hope to have in China. Happy, have a kid on the way. Literally have a kid that's coming in like 3 weeks. I got to get home soon.
Congratulations, man.
Well, thanks for coming to do the pod.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't miss this, guys.
That's awesome, man.
Dude, are you still in that apartment?
No. You know what, though? You'd think that we've gotten a lot fancier, but my apartment still, right now, is absolutely beautiful. Fringe benefits of being in Asia. I still pay less than $1,000 a month for my place.
Wow.
Everything we do goes back in the company. I absolutely swear it. I don't even own a car.
Wow.
I don't need to. I can't drive in China.
That's right. So is your wife Chinese?
Yes, she is.
So will she live on the top floor?
To be honest, in those days, yeah, she would come over and she would stay by my side. And honestly, I didn't. You hear these rumors like, oh, you shouldn't mix business and pleasure. You shouldn't have, your significant other involved in your business. And I held that at arm's reach for quite a while. And at the end of the day, I realized that, Jesus, this girl just constantly wants to help me. She's basically my right hand. And it got to the point where she just wore me down, and I realized that she was the best thing I ever had. She's literally my right hand.
That's so cool.
Watches out for us, gets involved in the business, works with absolutely all of our clients, extremely personable. And, like I said, I couldn't be happier. I am the absolute luckiest man alive right now.
That's awesome, dude.
That's pretty amazing. So remind me again, how long you been in China?
Coming up on 6 years.
Bro.
Yeah.
Let's talk culture shock. What were some of the biggest culture shock things?
Oh man, the food.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not talking about in a bad way. You get addicted to Chinese food. The Chinese food that we have in the West is nothing like real Chinese food. It's amazing.
Like, how is it different?
It's okay. Like, let me give you a good example.
Chemicals.
Yeah. Short answer. One of the first things I did was I talked my father into coming over. My father and I are very close. He's a single guy. He's here in Florida, and he's he obviously he's living alone. He's bored, and I'm trying to show him a better way. So I brought him over to Asia, and he loved it. He thought it was so cool. But the weird thing was that he was like 230 pounds. He left China at 190 pounds.
Wow.
It just melts off because you're not eating all the GMO, you're not eating all the disgusting food, the grease, the fat. It's just not there. So you go there and you're like by default eating a healthy lifestyle. It's amazing.
That's pretty cool. So what he's really saying is by default when you come to the U.S.
Right, he's
you're eating a shitty
right.
diet.
You two boys need to come over and visit.
It's not our fault.
That's a true story.
Within 24 hours of being back, I'm searching out hamburgers and hot dogs. So
right.
honestly,
Five Guys, right?
Right.
You'll burn it off when you get home.
Yeah, exactly. Who cares?
My diet plan starts when I get off the plane.
Right.
That's pretty cool. So it's got to be more than food, though. Like, what was the actual, aside from food, what was the culture? What was the stuff like?
Did you speak Chinese?
Yeah.
Oh, you went over there speaking Chinese?
No, absolutely not. I taught myself when I was there. You start with, how much is this? Can I have it for less? Because everything's haggling.
Where's the bathroom?
Yeah, exactly. These kind of things, just getting around. And then from there, I'm never going to be quoting Shakespeare or anything in Chinese, but at the end of the day, I can get around just fine by myself. And that was very empowering. When I finally realized, wow, I'm actually kind of good at this. I don't need help in China. That was super cool.
All right. So if I go to visit China, I'm calling you.
We have 100% got you covered. You are welcome anytime.
So where do you live in Hong Kong? Where do you live in China?
Well,
I almost said Hong Kong.
Right.
That whole area is basically the center of the technology world right now. 15 years ago, everybody thought that Tokyo was the center of the world. Maybe 10 years ago, it became Seoul, Korea. Now it's really Shenzhen, China. It really is. Everything, all the high-tech stuff that you can possibly imagine is there. That's where it's all getting made, from the DJI drones to the Apple iPhones. Everything is getting made there. So we are in that ecosphere there. There's Hong Kong, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, Macau is obviously a separate area where everybody goes to spend the money, not make the money.
Right.
And then there's Zhuhai. Zhuhai is the neighbor city to Macau. We're a border city. So where we live in Zhuhai is like kind of like this quiet little sleepy seaside fishing village of 3.5 million people. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a small town in China.
Yeah. To be honest, it is.
That's insane.
So it's half of DC.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah, it's a monster. It's absolutely a monster.
So do you have an Apple phone?
I do.
What's the other phone? It's not Samsung. It's not Apple.
Well, there's Huawei.
That's the one.
But to be honest, Xiaomi is the one we love. Xiaomi is Chinese Apple. And we love Xiaomi. God, everything in our house is Xiaomi. Like the security cameras, the door locks, the vacuum cleaner. We have a vacuum cleaner that talks like a little Chinese kid. It runs around the house, bumping into things. Yeah, they make a better Roomba. The Roomba. It's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, dude. Will that
I'm
work
gonna
on our
start-
power system? I think
I'm
that
gonna
we
start
need to-
placing an order like Christmas gifts. All right, Jeff, can you please send me
a little Chinese boy vacuum?
Yeah. What's the latest that we don't have here that you guys are like cranking out, right?
One of the coolest things that we see over there is that, now you see the e-scooters and the Birds and the Limes everywhere. Those are all Xiaomi products. They're literally just private labels for here. But those guys are making all that stuff. We've had that stuff for like 5-6 years. I tell people that I bring over, I've tried to bring over as many members of our team as I can, just to show them what we're into. And every one of them goes by and they're like, oh my God, you guys live in the future. And it really is. We're 10 years in the future over there. It's unbelievable.
That's amazing, man. You see the videos, and like he was saying, like Tokyo, like you kind of think of that about like with Tokyo, right? Like you think of like the little robots that dance and stuff like that. But I guess it's China. I guess we just don't get enough information about China.
Right.
Like when we were kids and you got no information about the Soviet Union. Every picture you saw was black and white.
Blackout, totally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, as I guess America's just fading behind the technology race here.
Well,
sort of like the fashion industry when like somebody, I'm not knocking any small town in rural America, but when they go to a big city, New York City, you know what I mean? There's just the fashion is so much different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's what it would be with technology, you know.
Yeah, it's just one of these things where the stuff is just at arm's reach. I mean, like I can go up the street and I can have a kid literally in flip-flops and a t-shirt fix my MacBook Pro. And I'm like, wow, this guy that like literally he's like 17 years old. He probably worked in the Fushikang factory, so of course he knows how to take the thing apart. But like it cost me like $20 to get my MacBook fixed, like stuff like that, like something that would cost you $500 in the U.S. So there are a lot of fringe benefits to being over there. And what my focus was, I mean, obviously I was trying to be pragmatic and trying to be savvy with business, minimize costs. But at the end of the day, it's just so much more fun. I love it. I love coming back. Don't get me wrong. Right. I mean, home is home. But at the end of the day, like it's really been a huge advantage for us as far as like trying to grow this thing fast and really put the rocket fuel in the tank to be over there.
All right, so we've heard some all the good stories about China. What are some of the bad stories, or not bad necessarily, but what are some of the biggest challenges that you're faced?
One of the biggest issues that I have, and I get it a lot from a lot of the people that we work with, and there's a lot of preconceived notions about the way that China is. It's they're not to be trusted, and this and that, and now we have this crazy trade war going on. That's a whole other can of worms.
I don't think we're going to get into that.
Yeah, no doubt. What I see is that a lot of people right from the get-go are like, this is not to be trusted. I don't trust this quality. I don't want to deal with this. When really what it comes down to is if you make the right relationships and you get involved with the right people, I've met some of the most honorable people I've ever met in my life in Asia, and it's literally just people trying to get ahead, trying to do what they need to do, and saying, look, quality is job one, and I'm going to do my absolute best for you because we're going to grow together, hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And if you take that approach with them over there, like you at least extend that modicum of respect, then you're going to get it back tenfold. Most people don't do that. Most people go there, I don't trust you guys, and I'm going to push you on the price, and like I said, there's 50 different quality levels for everything in China. You push them too hard, there goes the quality level down a couple notches. You'll get your product. It just won't be what you paid for.
Got it. And so,
Or
like,
maybe it will be if you talk the price down low enough, right?
you get what you pay for, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
That's
you get what you pay
that old
for.
adage. So when you like, is it? Maybe you just answered the question, but like when you find a warehouse, is it like this warehouse does quality, and then you're like, oh, that warehouse over there or that factory over there, they do shit?
Well, we've been basically in all the factories. We know where everybody makes their stuff. There's no secrets. There's ways to find out over there. That's the thing with China, is that there really are no secrets. Everybody knows where everybody makes everything. It's just a matter of, who do you want to actually build a relationship with? Who do you think is conducive to building a relationship with? And who isn't worth the time because they've already made their money and they're not going to care about you. We try to find the people who do care about us. We approach our suppliers with a lot of respect, mutual understanding, and that also flows through in the culture with our company. I've been in a lot of companies, some of the companies that I used to work with, where basically China was the default blame. Everything is China's fault. Oh, these suck. Oh, that's China's fault. Oh, stupid China. They messed this up. They messed that up. In our culture, we try our best to bring people over. We show people, hey, we love it there. Half of our team is in China. And, and our team is very, very close. We use an app where we're basically all in like one constantly progressing group chat where everybody's talking, mostly sharing food pictures, but for the most part, just bonding. We love the fact that everybody's bonded together. So because my wife is Chinese, because I'm over there and I'm always showing people the good thing, I think it's led people away from thinking like, oh, this is bad. And rather than looking at it as a liability, it's an asset we have. And thinking of that has definitely paid dividends.
He's like a Chinese ambassador.
For real.
I don't mean to be. I'm just trying to spin the truth.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. So do you have Americans that work in China?
I am actually the only one. I am the only American that works in China. We do have a few members of our team that go back and forth a lot. Mostly people that come once, they want to go back. It's kind of a life-changing experience. If you guys do have the chance, definitely go make the trip. Even Hong Kong. Go to Hong Kong is cool.
Yeah, my wife works for FDA, and they asked her to go to China, I guess, to inspect some of the manufacturers that make some of the food and drug or medical devices. And it was a 60-day, she wanted to wait till our kids are out of school before she goes over there for 60 days. And so when she eventually does this, I definitely want to go and hang out. So I will definitely be calling you.
Please let me know. We will give you guys the absolute best tour.
I'm excited.
I got to figure out my way over now.
I've never wanted to visit China so much in my life now than right now.
I've kind of always wanted to.
You guys got to do a podcast while he's over there.
Of course.
That's your ticket right there. Now you have an excuse.
Here we go. Can we write that off?
Right.
I don't know.
So, I mean, what's the name of the company?
For our company, we are Fashion Foundry. That was the name that we used for essentially all of our brand building endeavors and also for our private label endeavors. So if you're doing business with us, you're doing that. We also have a lot of other brands. I like to keep them segmented because, to be honest, like if we're building a brand for you, the last thing in the world I want you to have to deal with is like, okay, these guys made my brand. No, you are the star of the show if we make your brand. The last thing in the world we want is to be kind of like, us using your brand to leverage us. People will find us. I have no shortage of people who want to work with us. It's more a matter of, we're going to make you a quality product. You're going to go out and say, oh my God, these guys were amazing. Hey, you guys should have your stuff made by these guys. And that's honestly how we've done all of our business so far.
That's incredible. So how, like if I wanted to create a Corey Flatiron, if I wanted to create that, like how would I get in touch with you, or how would that work?
We have fashionfoundry.com, which is our main website that we use. One of the things that I haven't really stressed on, and I guess I probably should have, is that because I came from design, even though I started as a one-man show, my top priority once we actually started rolling a little bit and started building was to build out our design team again. I basically made my design dream team. We are at the point right now where when you're ready for that Corey Flatiron, we can put the absolute coolest design behind it. I mean, everything from your packaging to the web design through to actually marketing it and getting it out in front of customers. Like, we're kind of a one-stop shop in that regard, but the design is where it all comes from. At the end of the day, we've got to make something that matches your persona, that essentially speaks toward what it is that you're trying to portray as your reason to existence, I guess.
Yeah, like a holographic type Corey bearded, flat iron
beard.
Holographic, massive beard.
I love it. I mean, So I guess how does that relationship work? So if I come to you, like we work out a price, and then like I buy it straight from you, and then I take it to market, or do we partnership up as far as the cost goes, and then we bring it to market? Like how does that relationship work, or is every relationship a little different?
I think everything's tailor fit for whoever we're working with. It all starts with a discussion. I'm very available, so like we're a new
On China time.
No, I'm on every time. I don't get much sleep.
Right. So I guess it all starts with a phone call or an email.
It all starts with a phone call or an email. Reach out to our people. Like I said, I'm very available. My team is absolutely amazing. What we would do is we'd actually just start with a conversation. Listen, hey, what is it that you're about? What is your story? Once we get past that point, we say, okay, well, let's see how we can help. Some people are not necessarily a good fit for us. At the end of the day, we obviously want to see people succeed, so we want to see that they at least have things kind of in a row together. They know what they want. Obviously, somebody who has a vision is much easier to work with than somebody's like, oh, I don't know. But not to say that we can't create something that you're going to love anyway if you don't know, but it's obviously better if you know which direction you want to go. From that point, we decide if it's something that we need a warehouse, if it's something where essentially you just want to license a product, or you just need something for in your salon. We basically take all comers.
I love that. And then can you just kind of go down the list of what you guys are manufacturing, what you're capable of manufacturing as well?
Basically anything to do with hair. Absolutely.
So
everything.
From brushes to, what about scissors?
From
Shears?
brushes, scissors are no problem. We're sourcing stuff outside of China. Don't think that we're just the China people.
Mm-hmm.
We would source scissors probably in Japan. We have a lot of stuff that we're getting into in Vietnam now. We touched upon the trade war and how that's kind of, throwing everything for a loop. One of the interesting things that we're seeing now is that a lot of the suppliers are moving away from China, and you're starting to see factories pop up in Cambodia, in Thailand, in Japan. There's a lot of manufacturing going back to Taiwan, which is going to be a little bit pricier, but at the same time, the quality is there. Mm. So, it all depends on, what you're looking for. If somebody's looking for something that's simple, that's entry level, that's, gonna keep the cost down, but at the same time show them really, really great aesthetic, we can do that. If it's 100% about, I want this one flat iron to last forever and nobody's going to call me on this thing, it's never going to break, we can do that too.
Mm. I think I need a flat iron. Forget a Corey flat iron. I just need the what did Willy Wonka call it?
Well,
the everlasting flat iron.
Well, you can't go to my house because my wife will shoot you for hers.
There's no doubt. We're definitely not doing that, man.
Yeah. We need to send another care packet so you don't get mugged
by his wife. That's pretty cool, man.
Dude, I'm so in awe of everything that you guys can do, what you do. How you take care of the industry.
I'm actually kind of just, it's interesting to me just to kind of talk to you and get to know this because, it's kind of not necessarily a middleman because you're the man, mm-hmm. but it's just nice that you can have a relationship with a Chinese manufacturing outlet, I guess is the best way to put it.
Get rid of the middleman.
Well, exactly. I just, this is...
Or you become the middleman.
You are the middleman. Yeah, I just kind of love that there's that access. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
That's kind of crazy. I love that.
So is there anything else that we're missing?
Well, let's say that you have somebody who's a little bit more advanced in what they're doing and they have an idea and they want to get it made. One of the cool things that we've done within the last few years is we've actually taken on partnerships with factories. So not only can we go source and find whatever it is you want from any factory that you want, but we also have our own factory. So when it comes time to, okay, I want this flat iron that does this, or I want this new brush that does this, or I want some special beige comb that does this, we can make it. We can literally open the molds. We have industrial designers that are phenomenal, like the absolute best, that can make you something where it's in your head, it's on a bar napkin, whatever. At the end of the day, you're going to see it from us, and it's going to have, it'll look basically indistinguishable from a real product. We're phenomenal as CGs. So there's no surprises. When it's time for you to see what it is that you're making, you're going to see it in a picture that looks so good you can't tell that it's not real. And then you're going to actually make an informed decision rather than just kind of crossing your fingers and hoping that you get what you want.
Right. That's so cool. I feel like I'm sitting with Steve Jobs.
Right. Yeah. Right. All these things are running through my head. Oh man, that would be cool. This would be cool, right? Because yeah, You'll probably end up hearing from me later, but
I think we're getting a Tony Flatiron is what we're going to get there.
You let me know. Our door's always open.
It'll be more like shears and that type of stuff. But anyway, that's a different conversation. Yeah, that's
totally. So once again, so it's fashionfoundry.com, and then is there a contact form on there or like an email address? Or?
Yeah. There's a submission form on there, and also there's email addresses on there as well. So have a look. Our website is constantly evolving right now. It talks more about our marketing capabilities because we do that also, but our bread and butter and basically where we consider our strongest strengths is obviously our product development and definitely our design. When you have a look at some of our brands, again, I like to let our brands speak for ourselves or let them speak for themselves. You'll see that we've put a lot of detail and intricacy into our designs.
I know that you like to keep some of the brands that you work with anonymous, but are there any others that we could kind of share that you would share just so people can kind of go, oh yeah, I've seen that product?
As far as like our brands or as far as people who we're working with?
Either. I mean, whatever's you feel most comfortable with.
I'm going up on, I think, year 7 right now with Brazilian Blowout. We absolutely love those guys. We've done a lot of stuff with them. We've got our good friend Mustafa Avsi, who we've been working with for a while. He's got some amazing mannequin heads that he just came out with that I don't know if you've seen them yet, but they're really cool. It's actually the first one that doesn't look like an axe murderer trying to kill you.
And you manufactured the mannequin heads for them?
Yeah, we did it all.
Oh, I think we are talking. I think we can get a Corey mannequin. Can you do this?
Yeah, we need to make a mannequin head for beard trimming. That way people can practice their beards.
I love it. They have some of them, but they do look like axe murderers.
No, we'll make one that looks just like you. You can just be cheesing.
Oh, I like that. Can we make that the standard so like for here on out forever, like the mannequin looks like me?
Yeah.
Be a bodiless Corey floating around. But thousands of bodiless Corys.
The great thing, you have to shave off your beard first so he can get a picture of your real face. And by the time they finish trimming the beard, it really looks like you.
I'm out.
No. That's a bridge too far.
All right.
Jeff, dude, honestly, thank you for sharing this. Thank you. I'm super stoked because we also pride ourselves on like trying to hit the entire industry.
I love it.
I just kind of think like this is really cool. This is just kind of like another.
They have an office here in the States. It's just not all in China.
Yeah,
right?
We're actually multinational at this point, technically.
Technically.
Out of Miami, right?
Yeah, we're in South Florida. We've also got some offices in South America. We've also got an office in Hong Kong, and we've got one in Shenzhen, and we live in Zhuhai. So we're spreading out as fast as we can. Mainly need-based. We're not trying to be fancy. We're trying to get things done.
Right. He's the real deal.
The real deal. That's very cool.
So you don't have to reach out to China. You can reach out to Miami. Who would they reach out to in Miami?
They can reach out through the website. They're happy to reach out to Christine.
Yeah, that's who we've been talking to is Christine.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
She's absolutely phenomenal. We're blessed.
She's sitting over here, but she doesn't want to...
she don't want to join the conversation. Well, she's the one that got you mugged.
Yeah. Yeah. I got beat down by my wife and daughter.
Thanks, Christine.
Yeah. As we are winding this thing down, is there anything else you want to talk about? What Fashion Foundry is doing, or
we have had some successes recently that I guess are noteworthy. We just got a brand into Urban Outfitters, so you may have seen Glister on their shelves. We're super excited about that. Again, I like to try not to talk about our brands. I like to talk about Fashion Foundry and what we're doing for other people. But yeah, I can't help but brag there. We're super excited about this.
How long have you had that relationship?
With them coming up on 3 or 4 months, I believe.
That's a big score.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. I mean, they must sell a lot of units, right?
Right. So when you do the Corey Flatiron, you got a connection to Urban Outfitters.
There you go. Let's get you in the men's department.
Right.
I love it. So what's the...
What is Glister?
Well, one of the coolest things about working with retail is that we're constantly looking for new ways to make our products jump off the shelves. And again, that's where the next level design comes in, is if you're not catching people's eyeballs, then you're dead in the water. And we pride ourselves on just having absolutely amazing designs. Our stuff is all dripping in foils, lots of different textures, vivid colors, to the point where you're going to pick it up and see what's inside the box. And if we can do it for ourselves, we can definitely do it for you. Ready for that holographic beard.
Yeah. So do you give as much attention to detail to, say, me as you do to yourself?
As much or more. at the end of the day, you guys are out there speaking for us. Again, we're only as good as the people who are speaking highly of us after we do good work. So absolutely, we treat our private label customers every bit as importantly as our brands, and sometimes more so.
Love it. Hey, here's a question. How did Mustafa find you?
Mustafa, that was an interesting one. Actually, we had some mutual friends at Brazilian Blowout. He's absolutely phenomenal. That guy, I just love watching him work. I'm like mesmerized by his Instagram, and the stuff that he's coming out with now. He has a vision. He has things that he knows what he wants. He knows he's a professional. He's a consummate professional. Watching him do hair it's absolutely mesmerizing.
Agreed.
So we're just at a point we just want to try to help him get to that level. Get him the tools that he can do to do the professional work.
Hey,
boom.
Can you make some pretty cool podcast mics?
Absolutely. I can make you some podcast mics. Can make you some branded headphones. You guys will be the next Dr. Dre.
What?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Now we're talking. Boom.
Right. Bam.
You forget the flat iron.
Yeah.
Corey phones.
100%. When he said, he could do other things, it just thought, here we go, podcast.
Didn't they just sign like a $3 billion contract with Apple or something crazy?
Yeah, they made some money on that one.
Dr. Dre's the first billionaire rapper.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's insane.
Well, you guys aren't far behind. Let's get it going.
So before...
We're not far behind.
Yeah. Just about $299,999,999.
Starts with the first one, gentlemen.
Right.
Thanks, Coach.
When you do the marketing, do you help your clients with their marketing?
We
the overall
can.
design to help them for the whole look. Sometimes you got an idea, right? But you suck at everything else, and that's where you fill in.
We are absolutely amazing at research. So we will actually research your market, your target, where it is that you want to put, and then we're going to give you a product that, if you trust us with the creative vision, we're going to give you something that's going to make that transition into success very simple and very easy for you.
We love you.
We do. Once again, Jeff, thanks for your time. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for coming all the way to Premiere from Hong Kong or from... God, why do I keep saying Hong Kong?
Before we sign out?
Yeah.
Once again, how can our listeners, if they're thinking about doing something, find you?
FashionFoundry.com is our website.
Bam.
Boom. That's it. Jeff, thank you very, very much for joining us on your day off.
Gentlemen, it's been an honor.
Hey, so there it is. Hey, this is a message that we've been trying to bring, I don't know, for the last couple of months, actually since we started the podcast. Hey, so if you like the podcast or if you find that it's useful, please leave us a review, a 5-star review on iTunes. Leave us a rating and a review.
But if you don't like it, forget about it.
Yeah, totally forget about this message. We also want to thank Sarah and Blaine from Pretty Gritty. Sarah and Blaine, they are a band out of Portland, Oregon, and we just want to thank them very much for allowing us to use their song, Pleased to Meet You, on our podcast. That's cool. I think you can find, you can find their music on iTunes.
Peace and hair grease.